Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. Today we're going to make a gorgeous card using lots of Anna Griffin goodies, including some of her flock layers. I love these. They add texture and dimension to your card and just give that extra zhuzh to lots of other things that you might use. Everything I do use I'll put down below in the description box. Now the first thing that we need is our blank card. Now I know mine looks a little bit odd because I've already added tape to the front of it. And I know you're thinking that's a little bit excessive, Anne-Marie, for the normal amount of tape you use. Well, there's reasons for doing this, so we'll get to it. Now the first thing is my card. It's a 7x5 inch card, and I know you're probably fed up of hearing me say this, but it is the perfect size for card making in my opinion. And I think it's just not too big and not too small, with the right surface to cover, especially if you're a new beginner, because it's very difficult when you start to be able to imagine when you're watching somebody of what size they're using. This is why I developed my cardometer. It's a simple method of showing you and giving you an idea of the size of card I'm using. So this is an A4. Now I know around the world different sizes, A5, A3, etc. go in different directions, but generally we know what the A4 is. A5 is half of the A4, and then we're 7x5, which is just slightly smaller than our A5. So that should give you a good idea of the size of card that we're using. Now as always, even though I've got tape on it, I'm going to use my bone folder to give the card a good neat edge, and we're going to do the inside first, because I know some of you are more excited about making the inside now than you are the outside, and they're just simple ideas to give your insides a little bit of a facelift rather than just writing "To my mum, lots of love, Anne-Marie." So it just shows something extra. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of Ivory cardstock. I've used Anna's 22 birthday clear stamps, and I've stamped "Wishing you the happiest of days." I've stamped it twice in pink ink, and I've left a gap in the middle for my die cut. Now before I attach it, I'm going to add my die cut to the actual layer, because I want to be able to trim it to size before we put it in. So the next thing is, I've been asked about adding glue to die cuts. I sometimes, and I know many of you have got a Xyron machine. Now not everybody has. If you haven't, then adding wet glue to the back of a die cut, you look for the larger areas on the die, like here and here and here, the covered areas that you can actually get some glue onto without it being seen on the front. So then you can turn your die around and add it to whatever you are wanting to attach it to, and in this case it is our insert. Now where I've stamped, you'll see there's just enough room for the actual die cut, and once I've stuck it on, I can trim off the excess on both sides. Oh, that wasn't good. So let's try that again. There we go. Should really give it a few moments to stick, but I'm impatient, so we can try that again, and then trim the other side. There we go. And then we can add this to the inside of our card. There we go. At home you would obviously give it a few moments to stick. I was hoping I might have just given it long enough, but not to worry. So we'll peel the tape away and we can add this through the centre of our card like that, and that is our insert finished. You've got enough room for your message to and from, and a little message in this case. So now we can do the front of our card. Now the reason I've added tape on the front is because I wanted to add some flock layers. Now Anna's layers are 7 by 5 inches, and I've trimmed mine to inch long strips. Now this means you would be able to use your scrap materials, if you've got any, to make a threaded background. When I say threaded, I mean strip background, and then use them in different sections in different patterns. It just so happens I had 2 sheets of the flock, and I thought what we'll do is we'll put them together for something different. Now normally I wouldn't have attached them like this, but I've done this because I'm filming. I wanted to make sure they were still in the right order, so I just added a little bit of tape to keep them together, so I knew what went where. The strips are 1 inch wide, and the pattern does follow on. And the reason that I've got all the tape on the front of the card is so that I can attach them nicely and try and get them on straight. Let's have a go. Now I'm doing the top section first. There we go. And then as I get to the bottom, I can take the rest of the tape away and lay that down flat. Not too bad. I've got a little bit of overhang. I could trim that off if I was being sneaky. So that's the base of our card. Next, I've got another of the velvet flock layers, and it's just the same as we've used for the base of the card. And I've got double-sided tape on the back of it, and I'm simply going to put it through the centre of the card like that, and then I'm going to trim off the excess. So there we go, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. Trim it away like so. So it just runs through the centre. Next, I've used the beautiful Trimmings die, like we did for the insert. This is the rest of the section that I cut. Now on the back of this, again, I'm going to use wet glue because I want it to stick over my velvet flock like that. Now we can trim it to size. There we go. And then that will sit nicely over the piece that we've just added like that. And then I'm going to carry on with the rest of the card and let that dry before we trim the edge. There we go, she says. Oops. So next, what I've done is I've taken some of the favourite flowers, and these are the Morning Glory from the favourite flowers. These are stickers, so you simply peel the back of them away. Now if you ever have trouble sticking onto flock with anything, use a little bit of wet glue, and then that should help sticking down. And we've got some more of the Morning Glory here, and I'm going to add a little bit of wet glue on the back and add those to one side. And then the third bunch of flowers, again the Morning Glories, little bit of glue. You don't have to do this, But if you think you might be going to have trouble sticking onto your flock layers, then add it. There we go. So those are our flowers. Now at this stage I'm going to trim the excess away from the sides from the beautiful trimmings that we've added just before we finish the card off. And then I can turn it round and trim the other edge. There we go. It's all about playing, and it's your creativity, your mind. So there's no rights and no wrongs. Now this is a sentiment from Anna's favourite sentiment sticker selection, and it says celebrate. You simply peel the back off, and I'm going to tuck this in through the flowers like that. So you can still see the flowers and you can see the sentiment, and it just looks so pretty. And then I'm going to finish this off with a little pre-made bow that Anna has a selection of different coloured bows in small and large sizes. This is a small one. I've just got a little bit of 3D foam on the back of it. Now I can add my bow underneath or at the top or at the side. I think here, just to one side, rather than being not symmetrical but keeping it in a line, so you can still see the flowers and the sentiment, and you can still see the layers from the beautiful trimmings die. We've got our flock background in our two colours, and then we've got the centre as well with the beautiful trimmings die. Just a beautiful card, stands up nicely, not too high for posting. We've only got one layer where we've got the sentiment or the 3D foam from the flowers, so it shouldn't be too much for your postage charges. Very pretty card and would look great on any mantelpiece or windowsill. So for more information or to see the detailed description of everything, please check out my blog. There's so many projects on there now. I'm sure you'll just get engrossed in just looking at the pictures, because I've tried to make it so easy for you just to go have a look at the pictures. If there's a picture that you like, you want to have a look at the project, just click on it and that will open up and the video will be there. Now also I've started putting pictures of not only the outside of the cards but the insides as well on my blog. So if you're stuck for ideas, have a little look and see what you think. I love hearing from you. Find me on Facebook, say hello, don't be shy. And I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.